welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's Ren. On the way in, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It's the easiest and the freest way to support your girl. So go ahead, get the click below. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Specifically, I think I kind of low-key already talked about getting out of your own way, but I wanted to tap into that a little bit deeper. Before these last few days, I had kind of been in a spiral, essentially, energetically, mentally, emotionally, all those things. And I found myself in an overall slump. But now that I'm on the other side of that slump, and like officially on the other side of that slump, I wanted to talk about getting out of your own way. A lot of times we are the reason that the not so good times last for as long as they do, because we are so stuck in survival mode. We're forgetting all of the tools that we've gathered along the way. And that's something that I noticed for myself specifically. Get there safely, buddy. That I've been doing inner work for years, like over a decade at this point. And sometimes when the going gets really rough, it's like all the tools and all the things that I've learned have just flown out the window. I don't know where they went. It doesn't even register to me that, hey, you have the tools to get out of this. You have the tools to process this and push through. But you just kind of get so stuck on what is that you just stay stuck in it. And so I know that for me, I'm a very reflective person. And so with that comes a lot of internal dialogue. Despite the history that I have with inner work and it flying out the window when I needed it most, I'm still the type of person that I'm going to unwire what's going on in my head. Even if I don't necessarily have the solution for it, I'm still going to recognize the space that I'm in. Now, why do all the tools fall by the wayside? I really think that it's more so the upgrade that's taking place. Now, for the day-to-day things that you deal with, it's like, yeah, my tools are here. I'm not thinking anything of it because it's just first nature. Now, when it comes to those lifestyle upgrades, it's, even though it's the same thing every time, it shows up in different ways. And so sometimes you don't realize what tools you need to use because the situation kind of looks different, even though it's the same thing. It's kind of like having a math problem saying is 2 times 3 6, or is 3 times 2 6, and it's just like, well, it's the same thing. You just said it the opposite direction. We don't necessarily connect the dots that it's the same base, essentially, and from there we can work it on out so that we can spend as little time in this as we need, because we can't stop the moments from coming, because that's how life happens, that's how we grow, that's how we experience life. So instead of trying to stop it from happening, let's remember our tools and come at ourselves with lots of kindness, lots of compassion, and lots of love, because clearly we're already going through enough emotionally and mentally. I just wanted to remind you, because that's something that I wish I got the reminder of last week before last, whenever that was, to get out of my own way, because I'm the one who's holding the blockade up, and I'm on both sides looking like, let it go, no, let it go, no. And it's just like, I'm just tussling with myself, and it's ridiculous because all the power's in my hands, and I just open the window while I'm flying down the highway just for it to fly out like a receipt or something. And it's like, what do you do? What do you do besides get yourself back on track with the tools that you already know? You've proven that these tools work. How did I seem to forget it when I absolutely needed it the most? I'm not sure. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like I was just sitting in the moment and sulking and things like that. I'm not really a sulker. I'm not really a woe is me, pity party type of person. But I am going to reflect, and I'm going to sit with myself and figure out what's what, because we're not here for none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're here for the growth, but we're not here for the discomfort. Okay? So we like to process through the discomfort quickly so that we can get on up out of there. When you're standing in your own way, you make that process a lot more uncomfortable than it needs to be, and a lot longer than it needs to be. And that's the problem with it for me, is that I don't necessarily mind a little discomfort here and there, because I know that's how you grow. But when it's long-winded, it's like, now look, I see I'm growing. I get it. I got it. What are we still doing here for? Like, why are we still here? Why are we still here? And it's like, okay, well, what is it that you need to learn? What is it that you need to pick up from this? What is it that you're missing? Because if you weren't missing something, we'd already be past it. So sit down, figure it out. What is it? And a lot of times we have to do a lot of reflections and journal prompts and shadow work. And so for me, it was like a lot of inner child stuff that had just come up all of a sudden. It put me back into not just my childhood, but the scariest parts of my childhood, and like the times where I'm like visualizing myself hiding in closets and things like that, where it's like, I'm not there anymore. So why am I allowing something from about 30 years ago at this point, why am I allowing something so long ago to really shake my world up right now? And it's not that I even knew that was happening at the forefront. Like, I realized it after all this time of reflection. It's like, oh, like you've just gone back to childhood. And it's like I could articulate that I felt like I was living in my childhood. Like, I felt like I was back at home with my mom and daddy and my brother and sister, living life out, you know, in the way that it was. I wasn't surviving in imagination land for nothing. That's all I'm gonna say. And it just kind of, the fact that I had got pulled back into that space energetically, it holds a lot of weight, because I'm not there anymore. I'm a grown woman and I'm the mama now. So no, I'm not at home with my mom and daddy and my brother and sister. I'm the mama and I'm at home with my husband and my kids. Getting caught in that web was really hard to untangle. Honestly, this was one of the roughest transitions I've had, honestly, to date. And I know I mentioned before that even though I had gone through a lot more things, like even physically, emotionally, mentally, but whatever was going on now, though it wasn't anything physical, it was all just me versus me. And it took me down such a deeper rabbit hole. I was just lost, honestly. I had temporarily lost myself, and I was aware that I lost myself, and I just refused to let myself just be gone. Now, I don't know if that added to the resistance because I'm so used to being at least remotely happy. I don't know if I added the resistance trying to just skip past. That's probably exactly what it was, now that I'm talking it out. It's like I was trying to skip past the inner work part because it felt so bad that it's just like, okay, let's just get over it. Like, I'm good. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. And I know that it doesn't work like that. Like, with all the inner work that I've done, I know that it doesn't work like that. Some things you can't skip steps with. And so as deep as this was, I should have known that, hey, you can't skip the steps. Like, you gotta nurture this baby like it's an infant, like straight out the womb. I was trying to just skip past all the discomfort, but trying to skip past all the discomfort made me lay in it for longer. Get out of your own way. I needed to get out of my own way. I needed to step to the side so that I could heal and do what I had to do, instead of ebbing and flowing in and out, because I'm like trying to strong hand myself into a better position and into a better mental space. Now, granted, I'm proud of myself for being aware of the space that I was in and doing something about it, or at least attempting to do something about it, despite how it turned out. So it's like, I'm glad that I wasn't gonna accept that as my new norm or anything like that. Like, I'm just too airy-fairy of a person to be in a dark place. Like, I'm literally sunshine and rainbows. You can call me a Disney princess. Pick whichever one you want. Snow White, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I'm typically like floating on cloud 9, because not just God, but what I have mirrored back to me because of my own energetics. And let me tell you, like, typically I get really great things mirrored back to me. Like, when I say when they talk about lucky girl syndrome, like, that's been my life. And so to get in the space where it's like, I'm not experiencing that, it's like, what the heck is going on now? Like, where's the love and the favor, guys? I'm here, you know. And it's like, I'm in the way of that. I stood in front of my own light to block it. My magnetism, I blocked it. My beacon, I blocked it. My light, it's like I just smothered it out. All things I was not doing intentionally. And I don't think any of us do these things intentionally. But when we are so focused on the solution rather than the journey, that's how we can that's how we end up standing in our way. So instead of being so caught up in, oh, I need the oat me back, I need myself back, I need it back, I need it back, I need this back. Instead of focusing on that, I could have been like, okay, well, what do you need right now? Because at the very least, it sounds like you need a hug. Give yourself some love, girl. It sounds like you need to take a step back and do some reflections. It sounds like you need to pull out some of the tools you got in your toolkit. And at the very least, it sounds like you need to let go and let God. But that was the part that I didn't do. And there were times that I did, and in those times I felt such peace and joy and just God oozing through my veins. Like, I did feel that in those times, but it's like, for whatever reason, I would allow myself within 24 to 48 hours later to fall right back into the pit that God just pulled me up out of. And it's like, that's a disservice to God. That's a disservice to myself and my own experience. That's a disservice to my babies, my husband, the people that love me the most, the people that I love the most. It's a disservice. It's a disservice. Obviously, we know that we can't change the past, but what I would only want for my future is that when life's, because life always is going to happen, whatever you assign to it is what you deem it as, good, not so good, indifferent, whatever. But for the next time that life comes up, my intention is to coast through it. Instead of being so focused on how bad I'm feeling, allow myself to feel, because I feel it anyway. And then from feeling it anyway, give myself the compassion to lovingly let it go. However many times I need to let go, or however many times I need to let God, then I need to just let God. However many times I need to surrender, I'm going to stop and surrender. However many times I need to do whatever it is that God's leading me to do, that's what I'm going to do. And getting out of your own way, you'll see just how fast the transitions happen and the transformation be real. Like, real. Like, my household is completely different right now. And obviously, everybody's the same. But the only thing that changes is me. Everybody else, honestly, is pretty constant. It's just me that be moody as all get out. But I mean, I'm not gonna judge myself. I'm just gonna keep doing what I gotta do and changing from the inside out. Because when you're just trying to put a mask on things, put a band-aid on it, it's what's going on inside that is making all the difference. When you allow that transition to take place, then you'll find yourself breezing through these things. Before, I felt good in the moment, but like I said, within 48 hours I was already back in the slumps. The goal here is staying out of your own way, because I was definitely standing in mine. And so if I can take my experience and give you a reminder to stay out of your way, you'll start to see the changes taking place, and from the inside out. Not that you put a band-aid on it, not that you just painted a new picture, but you're really experiencing the transition from the viewpoint of the next version of yourself. Do yourself a favor and take heed to this. and this is with anything. Like, this isn't just with like emotions and energetics and stuff like that. Like, this is truly with everything in life. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. How many times have you stepped to the side and everything just perfectly falls into place? A lot of times God just be waiting for you to move so he can do what he got to do to make things better. But it's like, no, God, I need this, and it's like, okay, I know, I got you, just get out the way, please. And you're just like, okay, God, but I need and this and that. God, okay, I got you, just step to the side, please, so I can do my thing. God, but I feel so bad. God, please. I heard you, girl. Move. You know. And so it's like the moment that you really just step to the side, it's like you feel that weight just come off. You feel like a brand new baby. Like, everything all of a sudden is taken care of. Everything is falling perfectly into place. Everything is aligning. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. I wish I had done it sooner, but better late than never. And honestly, it's not late. Everything happens right on time, okay? So remember that for yourself as well. Give yourself the grace. Always be kind to yourself. No matter what the situation's looking like, you still might as well be kind to yourself, because ain't nothing changing when you being mean and negative and all of that stuff. Like, you're not helping. Let's help ourselves heal and get out the way. That's all we got to do. Just step out the way. God, you got it. He has the will. As I mentioned before, I'm always deep in inner work. So if you are interested in your own inner work journey, check out my description box below. I have a link to my stand store that will take you to my free Goddess Glow Up Guide. It's a self-love enchantment workbook, and it will take you down activities and inner work prompts that'll help you navigate and transition to your next level. And if you want to go even deeper, check out my passion pages. This one actually has embodiment activations, which are really fun and juicy, in addition to all these other juicy things. So check that out. Now, over here, we are always growing and glowing and healing and all that good stuff. So if you're interested in becoming a Yoni Grip Goddess, That same link will take you to my stand store, and you can sign up for the wait list because I have a pelvic floor training program coming. So get excited for that. Now, if you forgot on the way in, it's okay. I forgive you. But on the way out, go ahead and handle that for me. Like, comment, and subscribe because it's the easiest and the freest way to support your girl. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Now, as you already know, you got to put your hand in mine. So let's go.